I have a very unique, but also familiar story. One Community Jiu-Jitsu Club, it started from my complete background of growing up in foster care. I was the oldest of four. My mom, she had me when she was 16 years old, and she lost her parental rights after a bout of partying and some abuse on me and my sisters. And when we went into foster care, it was a very confusing time, so I carried those traumas into my adulthood, aged out of foster care, carried those traumas into my adulthood. And when I found Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it really helped me compartmentalize some of those traumas.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Grow Healthy, Help People, a podcast that Accordis puts on. We love interviewing our nonprofit leaders to learn more about what they are doing in their communities and around the world to make a difference. Today, we are here with Ray from the One Community Jiu-Jitsu Club. How are you today?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Yes.
So tell everybody where you're calling from.
I'm calling from Kansas City.
Awesome.
One Community Jiu-Jitsu Club is the name of the nonprofit that I run. And
Awesome.
we've been around for 6 years now, trucking along.
Trucking along. I love it so much. Well, there's a lot I want to get into. I want to hear all about what you guys are doing. But first, can you tell us a little bit about your story and kind of what led you to starting up this nonprofit and running it today?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a very unique but also familiar story. One Community Jiu-Jitsu Club, it started from my complete background of growing up in foster care. I was the oldest of four. My mom, she had me when she was 16 years old, and she lost her parental rights after a bout of partying and some abuse on me and my sisters. And when we went into foster care, it was a very confusing time, so I carried those traumas into my adulthood, aged out of foster care, carried those traumas into my adulthood. And when I found Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it really helped me compartmentalize some of those traumas. And I realized that my hometown, Kansas City, Kansas, had no Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu spaces in the entire city. There's 170,000 people in Kansas City, Kansas, but no jiu-jitsu spaces in the spot that we operate in right now. And that's kind of what made me want to bring that culture to the people that I knew could benefit from it the most, right? How it helped me with my traumas, and the fact that they weren't getting access to it created a problem that I felt like I needed to solve. So a little bit of a unique story, but also there's a ton of foster kids out there, right? So it's not completely unique. I'd say what's unique for me is that I actually had the ability to find a way to deal with my traumas, and some of my peers never really got that chance.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I love that you did this as an organization because you of course could have started a jujitsu business and just kind of like ran it and, got it going that way, but instead you chose to target those who really needed that benefit in their life and that guidance, that discipline, that mentorship, like all the things that come with doing jujitsu. So I think that's amazing. Tell me about how you guys work, what it looks like, how people find you, kind of who your target is, that sort of thing.
Absolutely. So, to tell you how it works, I got to tell you where we started. We started in an abandoned elementary school. So if you can
Wow.
think of an elementary school from 1920s, and chalkboards on the wall, we took over a classroom in one of those
Yeah.
schools. And it was about 700 square feet of space. And that's where we, modestly started hosting classes. I kind of handpicked some students because I'd already, identified these students as having a need for that physical outlet. And from there, we moved to a community center space that was essentially tripled our space. It was about 2,000 square feet, a little bit less. And people were able to find us at the community center, right? So from there, we established the model of making this accessible into public schools. That's the way that we felt that this would be the easiest way to get this to kids that need it the most. So we started talking to principals. And one principal at Lindbergh Elementary School went ahead and gave us the green light to pilot the program. So that effectively gave us our third space at Lindbergh Elementary School. And of course, that made it very easy to get the kids because we're right there where they're at. You know, kids would literally, as soon as the school bell rings, they are leaving their classrooms. Some kids go to the bus to go home. Other kids came down to the cafeteria where we had deployed 3 different jiu-jitsu instructors. We had purchased them gis, and we had laid down gis as the uniforms that we wear. Had to, identify that for the people who aren't jiu-jitsu savvy here. And we had laid down mats in their what was their cafeteria or their PE room. And 20 to 25 students would come down and train jiu-jitsu for an hour. Their parents would pick them up, take them home. So that was our third space. And more recently, we've partnered with another nonprofit that focuses on boxing and sports performance. They are called Full Throttle Fitness. And they have a 20,000 square foot facility where they're bringing people in. Yeah, it's massive. Not only does it have the things that I talked about, boxing and sports performance, but they have a soccer turf, 7,000 square feet of soccer turf for indoor, practice. They have a golf simulator. They have 2 indoor batting cages, and we have 3,500 square feet of jiu-jitsu space. So that has been our new project to help us effectively pay for the in-school programs. And it's been phenomenal. Yeah, it's been phenomenal. So that's how we've gotten to where we are, and we've gotten a lot of our players, our jiu-jitsu players that we're helping.
So, like, you're in the school systems and you're working with all these kids. Do you get a lot of feedback from teachers or parents saying, "Hey, this is like we've seen a 180. Like, this has been incredible for our kid." What kind of stories are you hearing?
Oh man, honestly, so year 1 that was our pilot program. But more recently, we wrapped up year 2, and we did get great feedback. We actually ran a survey, and 20 parents responded. Parents and teachers, it was a mixture of both, responded, and they said that the program was, 5-star program to their liking. They thought it really aligned well with what they were teaching. They said that the students showed a significant improvement in their leadership abilities, a significant improvement in their confidence, and what was most, I guess, impressive for me is they all said that there was 0 negative implications that they spotted from seeing the kids train jiu-jitsu. So, I think sometimes when we talk to admin or even other parents about the potential of having jiu-jitsu in schools, they think, "Oh, you're going to be teaching kids how to fight each other?
How to fight,
this,
yeah.
like
It's going to be awful.
Yeah, why would we allow this?" But quite the contrary,
Yeah.
the parents and the teachers, we literally got 0 negative feedback on
So good.
students, bringing that to the classroom. So, and
Yeah.
we really highlight that on the mats.
Right. Yeah. So, do you see a lot of students come in or kids in general, wherever you're operating, who were in the kind of the same situation where you were at, where either they are in foster care or they just don't have that really good family support system, where they kind of almost find like mentorship in some of your leaders, like where they're kind of your leaders are taking on that responsibility for them?
It's honestly, it's kind of, man, that is a loaded question for me, because where we are operating at in Wyandotte County, it is a traditionally low to moderate income, community. So I would say a significant portion of our kids are experiencing some type of adverse childhood experience in one shape or form. It might look different for one kid. Maybe one kid, they really just don't have the financial backbone, and another kid, is struggling with a parent that maybe has substance abuse issues. Another kid is struggling with a parent that, maybe has mental issues and they haven't navigated those traumas themselves. And that all affects, our students, right? So, and honestly, adverse childhood experiences, if there's anything that whoever's listening to this podcast gains from this, is please go do more research on adverse childhood experiences. Literally a quick Google search will tell you, these 10 different, experiences that a child can have will make them more susceptible to earlier death rate, diseases, mental incapacities. And there are ways that we as adults can mitigate their exposure to these things if we, take accountability ourselves. That way we don't pass these traumas on and recreate these cycles. So
I love that so much because, right now, especially like mental health is such a big thing, and kids have to learn and they have to have a safe space where they can express those emotions and like feel safe doing it and feel like they have people in their corner. And so I love everything that you guys are about and that you're doing and how you're really supporting kids who need it the most. So, um, I we talked about this. I know how hard it is to run a nonprofit. It is so hard, and you are the founder. This is your passion, and I know you're pouring your heart and soul into this. And people think about it, and a lot of times people on the outside are like, "Oh, you're doing such good work. It's so wonderful." And yes, it is, but also like, wow, there are so many challenges. So tell me about some of those challenges you face.
it's weird because I had a mentor when I jumped into this. I was actually working for another nonprofit called the Learning Club of KCK, which did after school tutoring program. They would bring a host of adult volunteers to the housing authority where kids would get off the bus. They would use the little community center that the housing authority had set. And we'd see 20 kids with 20 different adults working one-on-one, getting that tutoring. That's where I actually realized that a lot of these kids needed some physical outlet, because especially the boys, they just weren't really working well with that kind of a format. And so when I had my mentor, he told me this. He said, "Ray, if you're going to run a nonprofit, it's going to take you about 7 years to get the support that you really need to make this thing work." And I heard him, but it kind of just like flew right on over my head. You know what I mean? I was like, no way. You don't know me, Mr. Grabs. He knows me very well. And I so agree with that statement. If you're someone out there that's really wanting to do something out of the goodness of your heart, definitely do it, but understand that not a whole lot of people are going to be willing to jump 2 feet in just like you are. It's going to take you a long time before you find that community and grow those relationships to get the support that you need, right? And support can look like anything. It can look like, I tell people, time, talent, and treasures. Those are the 3 ways that you can support, right? So if you have time to donate to One Community Jiu-Jitsu Club, come on. If you have talent to donate to One Community Jiu-Jitsu Club, maybe you know how to build a website or maybe you know how to do marketing, come on, you can donate that. If you have treasures, of course, that's the big one. We always need funding in the nonprofit sector. If you have access to treasures, please donate. Help us out. That stuff pays for geese. That stuff pays for the staff, the admin. Because, again, we're bringing instructors from the suburbs of Kansas City, and they need to pay for gas. Gas is up right now. Their labor is expensive. These are specialized jiu-jitsu players that we're bringing in. They've been training for years. They're essentially bachelors or PhDs in their art form, and we need to pay them like such. That's where the time, the talent, and the treasures really come into play. And those are some of the struggles. Those are some of the main struggles that in the first 7 years of a nonprofit we have to overcome.
Yeah, absolutely. And, if you're watching this and you're a nonprofit leader, I want to touch on that for a minute because one thing we do at Accordis is we will do like a yearly check in to kind of talk to organizations that maybe we've talked to in the past about what we can help them with at Accordis, but maybe they weren't in a place where they could utilize us at the time. And almost I would probably say 30 to 40% of those come back as no longer being a nonprofit. And so what I would encourage you to do is if there's an area where you feel like you need assistance, reach out to us and see what we can do to help you. We can handle all the back end office work. We can help with accounting, database, web development, marketing, and we can really help you push your mission forward and reach those donors, reach the people that need to hear your vision and your mission, and really understand what you're doing so that they know when they're donating to you, it's making a difference. And that's something we can come in and help you with at Accordis. Our website link will be at the end of the show. So please check us out and let us know if we can help you in any way. So, how long have you been doing this now? How long have you been in operation?
Yeah, we actually, I registered in February of 2020.
That's awesome. I mean, right in the middle of all the things.
It was right before lockdown. I think lockdown was
Yeah.
March 2020.
Oh my goodness, man.
It was a
But you
tough
were
time.
registered. Yeah, it was that is
Yes.
a tough time, man. So you've been registered for about 6 years now. How does it look going forward? How do you want to grow and where do you want to see One Community Jiu-Jitsu? Where do you want to see it go? How do you want to see it thrive?
I think that we've made a lot of traction in showing how jiu-jitsu can really have its space in the public school system. That's been our main goal for the past 3 4 years. We started trying to when we first started One Community Jiu-Jitsu Club. Again, I did this out of the goodness of my heart. I was like, we're going to make jiu-jitsu free for everybody. And I realized that, there's light bills to pay, the utility bills. They don't have a charity, promo code for utility bills, by the way. Um, and so I realized that, we actually need to kind of generate some kind of cash flow for this thing to survive. And that's where we started kind of charging a small membership of $25 a month for our families and really advocating for our donors. And more recently started pushing for memberships at the latest operation I was telling you about at Full Throttle Fitness. Since it's such a great value, right? 20,000 square feet, all access to these things. It's such a good bang for your buck, and we're still keeping it at a low price point. So that's how we're trying to survive, and it's been challenging, but also it's been exhilarating, right?
Yeah.
It's learning that this is a business. Nonprofit is not a
Yep.
business model. It's just a tax status.
Yes.
And I had to understand that so that we can grow. And that's where I
Yeah.
see us in 5 or 6 years. I see us leaning into more of that infrastructure so
Yeah.
that we can pay for the in-school jiu-jitsu programs where those
Yes.
kids are training 100% free jiu-jitsu to them as an elective or as a part of their PE program.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that, now that you're in some schools, you're able to take that data. And when you're presenting to a new school who might be on the fence and thinking, oh, no, I don't want to do that, you can say, actually, look at what it's doing for students at this school and really build on that to hopefully help you get into more and more places. So
One thing that
that's
I
awesome.
actually realized, I didn't realize that getting the data was actually going to cause a little bit of problems on its own because now we're actually kind of having to pump the brakes a little bit, right? We
Yeah,
don't have the funding to support the school programs that want us to come in. We've had
right.
3 or 4 different schools reach out to us, and right now the bottleneck is funding.
Yeah.
And once we handle that issue, we will be in multiple schools across the city, and we're trying to get this across the country. So if you
Yeah.
guys are interested anywhere in the states, holler at
Yeah.
One Community Jiu-Jitsu Club. Let's talk to some principals. Let's talk to some superintendents.
Yes.
Let's see if we can get jiu-jitsu to a school near you.
I love that so much. So let's get into that. People helping. We've got the three T's that you talked about. And so giving, they can give on your website.
Yes, yes.
Awesome.
OneCommunityBJJ.com. You
Okay.
can donate right there. We also have a Give Butter, which is a great
Yep.
platform for
Absolutely.
nonprofits. And yeah, those are the two main sources that
Perfect.
anyone
Okay.
listening could probably donate.
Awesome. And then if they are specifically in Kansas City, then they are able to reach out to you directly. And if they have those talents or anything where they could benefit you, then they could just call you
Yes.
up and you're ready.
Yes, and I always tell people that the hardest part of jujitsu and really anything is showing up.
Yeah.
Right, like
Yes.
show up, take that action to be there, and see what we're doing, so that you can witness the magic. Right,
Yeah.
it's a really beautiful thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, I encourage you to visit their website. We're going to have it posted at the end of this show. And if you are local, I encourage you to get involved in some way, or at least, at the very least, check them out because it makes a huge difference. It's one thing to hear about something, and it's another thing to see it in person. And so I encourage you to check them out. If this is something that speaks to you and that you feel passionate about, consider giving to them. Or if you're not local and you want to see this in your community, take action because a lot of times what we like to do is sit and wait for somebody else to do it when you might just be the perfect person to do it. And so take action, don't be scared, get some support and reach out to them. They can walk you through the good, the bad, the ugly, what they did that was great, what they did that didn't work. As a previous nonprofit leader myself, I love sharing what I know with
Yep,
other people because
yep,
you don't know what you don't know.
truly.
And so I truly know he would be honored to tell you more about it.
I'm an open book. I'm an
Oh,
open
but I
book.
love
Come
it.
on
I
by.
love it. It's awesome. Well, Ray, I appreciate you so much for talking to us today and giving us all the information. I've enjoyed so much learning all about you guys.
Hey, I appreciate you. This has been fantastic. I appreciate what you guys are doing for different nonprofit leaders, giving them an
Absolutely.
opportunity to speak and share their mission. So, thank you.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we will see you next time.